Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Trevor, and I'm here with my best buddy Chester, and we're here to talk to you today about the popular flea and tick preventative Nexgard. Now, Chester's been on Nexgard for a while now, so I thought it would be a good time to go ahead and give a review to talk about the positives as well as the negatives of the product. Plus, I'm sure that you noticed in the video title that I mentioned I'd be telling you where I purchased Nexgard at a great price. And man, it's a real lifesaver for the wallet. I mean, I don't know if you've ever purchased Nexgard from the vet, or at least looked at the price, but let me tell you, Nexgard is not cheap. In fact, my local vet charges $22 for just a 1-month dose of Nexgard, and forgive my French, but that is just batshit crazy. Anyway, I'll definitely be talking all about that later in the video after I give my actual review of Nexgard. You ready? Let's get to it. As you probably already know, Nexgard is a flea and tick product made by pet med behemoth Mariel. You probably know them by their most popular product, HeartGard. Though technically they were bought out in 2017 by another industry giant, and I can't ever pronounce this correctly. Boehringer Ingelheim? Is that right? Did I say that correctly? Ugh. But you know what? For the sake of the watchability of the rest of this video, I'm just going to refer to Mariel from here on out. Trust me, it's just in everybody's best interest. Besides, that's the name on the back of the box, so there we go. Okay, next we're going to go over the main ingredient of Nexgard and how it all works. Now, the main ingredient in Nexgard is called afoxolaner, which is an insecticide. It kills various types of fleas and ticks, including the brown tick, the American dog tick, the Lone Star tick, and the black-legged tick. Now, I'm sure there's other kinds of tick species out there, but I don't know anything else about that. So the way Nexgard works is to overstimulate the fleas and ticks' nervous system, which kills them and allows the bodies to rise to the surface of your dog's coat. You'll initially see more fleas and ticks as they're surfacing, but they will eventually die from, as stated, being overstimulated. And Nexgard is actually so powerful that it has been shown to kill all fleas and ticks within a 24-hour period. Crazy! Though the product is intended to be used as a monthly preventative and is definitely at its best when used that way. I guess you could use it in a one-off situation if you really wanted to, but there are other products on the market that are, designed specifically for that are, cheaper. So, yeah. Next, let's talk about weight ranges. As I kind of mentioned a minute ago, Nexgard is intended to be given once a month, fed by mouth. It comes in different dose amounts intended to be given to dogs in different weight ranges, which you can see from the super awesome chart I made. Alright, so if we look at it, you have your weight ranges from 4 to 10 pounds, which is considered very small dogs, 10.1 to 24 pounds, which is small dogs, 24.1 to 60 pounds, which is medium dogs, and 60.1 to 121 pounds, which is considered large dogs. I also have the corresponding kilogram weights as well. And as you can see at the bottom, this product is not intended for cats. Now, according to my research, Nexgard has been shown to be safe for puppies that are older than 8 weeks old and weigh more than 4 pounds. But if it was me, I'd probably wait a bit longer, just to be on the safe side, Alright, next let's talk about what form Nexgard comes in. Now, if you aren't familiar, Nexgard comes in the form of a chewable tablet, which you feed to your dog. And let me tell you, Chester absolutely loves it. He thinks it's a treat, which is awesome. Now, let me tell you why I think this is one of the best parts of Nexgard, hands down. I used to use a topical product like Frontline, which comes in a tube that you clip the top off of and then apply to your dog's back. You probably used one before. I've always hated it because it was a pain in the butt and it could get really messy and it takes forever to dry. And then like 20 minutes later, you forget you applied it and you go to pet your dog and then your hand ends up getting wet with the product. So you have to go wash your hands like 3 times to make sure you get the chemicals off. And then like another 30 minutes, you forget again and do the same thing and feel like an idiot. Oh, and then you find your dog rubbing his back on the carpet, getting chemicals all over said carpet. It's just not fun. But you know what is fun? Feeding your dog a beef flavored chewable that they think is a treat, and then you're a hero. And no mess, no waiting for anything to dry, washing your hands repeatedly, or carpet cleaning. Like I said, it's just awesome. Oh, and because Nexgard is in a chewable form, its effect is not diminished by your dog getting in the water for a bath or for swimming. Boom! Okay, so at this point, you probably realize I'm kind of a fan of the product, but I promise there are some potential negatives that I will go over as well. Just hang with me. Medical considerations. Now, I know this should go without saying, but I'm going to say it anyway. Please do not start your pet on Nexgard, or any other medications for that matter, without consulting your veterinarian first, especially if they're on any other medications. Just like for us humans, some medications don't mix well together and can end up causing some bad side effects. And the last thing you want to do is end up with doggy throw up on the carpet, am I right? Nobody wants to clean that up. So be sure to talk to your vet. Okay, I promised I'd go over some of the negative aspects of Nexgard, right? Well, now it's time to start getting into it, as we're now going to talk about potential side effects. If you give your dog Nexgard, the following things could happen. They could grow a second tail. They might start speaking fluid Mandarin, and or they might turn into a cat. Kidding. I know, I'm not funny. My wife tells me all the time, you're not funny. Sorry. Okay, seriously though, almost every medication, be it for humans or animals, carries a risk of side effects, and Nexgard is no different. Now, before I decided to put Chester on Nexgard, I did a lot of research and even spoke to multiple veterinarians in my area. I also spoke with the company where I purchased Nexgard from to get their take on it. The main thing I wanted to know was obviously about potential side effects. What I learned through the research and the discussion is that the vast majority of dogs do not experience any side effects from taking Nexgard. And luckily, for the small number of situations where side effects do arise, they're not serious, with one caveat. When side effects do occur, they're usually one of the following: itching, vomiting, diarrhea, loss of appetites, and possible seizures. Now, I'm sure you caught that last one and it probably got your attention, as it did mine initially. But after researching diligently and speaking with multiple experts in the industry, I came away with the impression that it's a very uncommon reaction. And in a good number of cases where it was reported, it was for a dog that was prone to have or had previously experienced seizures previously. So I'll definitely say this. If your dog has ever had a seizure before, do not give them Nexgard or really any flea and tick medication without talking to your vet first. It's super important. And on that same note, I do want to mention one more thing in regards to seizures. After looking at a lot of different flea and tick products by different manufacturers, and I mean a lot, I came away with the conclusion that pretty much every single one of them has seizures listed as a potential side effect. So even though it is a rare side effect, if that is something of great concern to you, or if you have a pet who has experienced seizures before, then you may just want to not use any kind of flea product on your dog, be it an oral or a topical. For me, after conducting so much research, I came away feeling pretty comfortable with giving Chester Nexgard, and he has been absolutely fine with no side effects whatsoever. And though I can't absolutely promise the same for your pet, it does seem that the vast majority of dogs on Nexgard do absolutely fine. And the effectiveness of the product has just been absolutely amazing, which I will get into next. So how effective is Nexgard, you're wondering, aka the whole point of watching this review? Man, this stuff is just fantastic. It's like putting a suit of armor on your dog, seriously. Get it because of the picture? When doing all that research I mentioned above, I came away with the impression that Nexgard is probably one of the most vet recommended flea and tick products on the market right now. And after using it for a couple months, I can definitely see why. Let's put it this way. I live in a very warm climate where fleas are always out in force, especially this time of year due to the mild winter last season. And I haven't seen a single flea on Chester. And he's a beagle, so he is always snooping everything: trees, bushes, logs, other dogs, you name it. He should be full of fleas and ticks. But nope, not a flea in sight. This stuff, it's great. Um, oh, and checking Nexgard reviews from big sellers like 1-800-PetMeds and others, it seems like most other people's experience is exactly the same as mine. Just for example, on 1-800-PetMeds, Nexgard rates a 4.6 out of 5 based on reviews by 760 people at the time of this video. I'm sorry, you can't get much better than that. So just to reiterate, this stuff is great. So moving on, we've got one last thing to cover in this review, and it's definitely the biggest drawback to Nexgard, and that's the price. Though lucky for you, I'm going to be able to help out with that, so stay tuned. As I mentioned somewhere in the beginning of this review, Nexgard is expensive. In fact, in preparation for this video, I actually called a couple of my local vets to get some pricing. As you can see on your screen, the pricing they gave me was, well, you can see it. 1 month supply ranged anywhere from, 21 to $22, depending on the size of the dog. 3 month supply, $67 to $69, and a 6 month supply, $134 to $137. I'm sorry, but that's like a punch to the gut. $20+ for a month of flea and tick coverage. Let's be real, that's a tough pill to swallow. So the first thing I thought was, once I got these prices was, okay, no sweat. I'll just jump online. I'm sure I can do better. So I did. I checked out all the big boys, including the aforementioned 1-800-PetMeds and others like Chewy, Petco, you name it. Pricing got somewhat better, but still not great. Here's some examples. To keep things simple, I'm just going to do a comparison for Nexgard for medium dogs, 3 month and 6 month supplies. You can see the vet pricing as talked about above, $69 for a 3 month supply, $137 for a 6 month supply. Next to that, you have pricing from 1-800-PetMeds, Chewy's, Petco. As you can see, a 3 month supply from one of those three would run right around $46. For a 6 month supply, you'd be looking at about $88, $89. So as you can see, there's definitely some savings to be had from these bigger online retailers, but it's still expensive. So I guess I could have just stopped there, but I've learned from experience that if I push further, I can usually do even better when shopping online. It took quite a bit of digging, but I finally found an online store that had great prices. They've got Nexgard starting at around $62 for a 6 month supply. If you recall, the other places mentioned earlier are charging around $88, much less the $130 that the vet is charging for the same 6 month supply. I'm sorry, that still blows my mind. Plus, the prices are good for other products as well, like HeartGuard, which is a great compliment to Nexgard, by the way. You got to make sure you have that heartworm taken care of. The customer service is solid, and they offer pretty cheap shipping. At the time that I made this video, it's only $2.99 per order, and that's worldwide. So who is this mythical store with these insane cheap prices? The shop is called Paradise Pet Store. And don't worry, I'll put a link in the description of this video, plus it's shown in the current slide on your screen. So the question you're obviously asking at this point is, how are they selling Nexgard cheaper than these other companies? And that's a good question, and I've actually got an answer. Consequently, it also ties into the one negative thing about ordering from them, which I'll get into in a second. The reason the pricing is so much better is because they are not located in the United States. As I'm sure you know by now, we US citizens get absolutely screwed by all things medical right now, including drug prices, compared to the rest of the world. It's just the way it is, sadly. Mariel charges more for products in the US, as do all other pet med manufacturers for that matter, simply because they can. In other markets like the UK, Europe, Australia, they sell Nexgard much cheaper. Luckily, we can still take advantage of this by ordering from an overseas store like Paradise Pet Store and take advantage of that pricing, as long as the shipping cost makes sense, which in this case it does. I mean, it's $2.99. Come on. As I mentioned a minute ago, this does lead to the one negative thing, and that's shipping time. From my experience ordering with them, delivery takes usually right around 11 days from the day I order. I emailed to confirm with them, and they said that that's about right for their US customers, 10 to 12 day mark usually. But at the end of the day, it's really not that big of a deal, and it's really easy to deal with. You simply just make sure you order far enough ahead to allow enough time for it to arrive before your pet needs your next dose. For me, once I give Nexgard the last dose from my current supply of Nexgard, excuse me, once I give Chester the last dose from my current supply of Nexgard, I just be sure to get on the computer and go ahead and place the next order, the order for the next supply within a few days. That way, there's plenty of time for it to get here before he'll need his next dose. Like I said, it's pretty simple. Okay, well, I guess that's it. You made it. That concludes my review of Nexgard. And as you can tell, I'm a pretty big fan of the product overall. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'd give it an 8 out of 10 with a 2-point deduction because of the potential cost. I hope you found this review helpful. I know it was a bit long, but I wanted to cover every aspect I could think of for you guys. I also realize it was probably a little bit on the dry side, but come on, you gotta cut me some slack. I mean, I'm sitting here talking about a flea and tick product, man. Besides, I tried. I put in some funny pictures and even made some horrible jokes. Come on. Plus, I even showed you where you can save some money, so maybe you'll give me some points for that. If you did find this review helpful, I would really, really appreciate it if you'd hit that like button for the video. It would be a really big help. And again, if you would like to save some money on Nexgard and other pet products, I would definitely recommend that you check out Paradise Pet Store. They've been great for my wallet, and I'm sure they'd be great for yours too. This is Chester and Trevor signing off, and well, thank you again for watching. Chester. All right, good stuff. Bye, guys.